This question came from Elizabeth, who at age 6 wanted to know what her cat was really thinking when it stared at her for hours. Actually, it came from Elizabeth's mom, who was tired of explaining why the cat knocked things off the table every day. Elizabeth, if we could suddenly talk to animals for just one day, the first thing that would probably happen is chaos. Complete and utter chaos. Your dog would immediately tell you about every single smell they've ever encountered. Your cat would complain about literally everything you've ever done. Have you ever tried to guess what your pet is thinking? It's like trying to solve a puzzle with half the pieces missing. We think we know. The tail wag means happy, the purr means content. But what if we're completely wrong? If animals could suddenly talk for one day, the conversations we have would change everything we think we know about them. The house pet revolution. Let's start small, with the animals in our homes. Your dog would probably spend the first hour just listing complaints. Why do you leave me alone? Why can't I eat that chocolate? And seriously, what is your obsession with throwing that ball and making me bring it back over and over? But here's the thing. Dogs might also tell us they understand way more than we think. They'd probably say, I know when you're sad. I know when strangers are coming. And yes, I can tell time better than you think I can. Cats, on the other hand, would be brutally honest. I don't actually love you, your cat might say, but you're useful for opening cans and providing warm laps. Also, I knock things off tables because your reaction is hilarious. The bigger picture. Now let's think bigger. What about wild animals? If we could talk to elephants for one day, they might tell us stories passed down through generations, real stories about their ancestors, about places that no longer exist, about humans they met decades ago. Elephants remember everything, so imagine the history lessons they could give us. Birds would probably complain about our buildings. Do you have any idea how confusing your glass windows are? They'd say. And those cell phone towers mess with our navigation systems. But they might also tell us about the incredible journeys they take, what it's really like to fly thousands of miles during migration, how they navigate using stars we can't even see. The ocean conversations. The most mind-blowing conversations would happen in the ocean. Whales and dolphins are already talking to each other in ways we don't understand. If we could join their conversations for just one day, we might discover they have names for us, stories about our ships, maybe even jokes about how clumsy we are in the water. A whale might say, your kind makes so much noise with those big metal things that we have to shout to talk to our families on the other side of the ocean. The uncomfortable truths. But here's where things get complicated, and a little sad. Farm animals would probably have some very uncomfortable things to tell us. Cows might talk about their calves. Pigs might be way smarter than we want to admit. And chickens, well, chickens might have some serious complaints about their living conditions. This is where one day of animal communication might change everything. Would we still eat meat if a pig looked us in the eye and said, please don't? Would we treat animals differently if they could explain their feelings? The scientific revolution. From a scientific perspective, one day of talking to animals would answer questions we've been wondering about forever. Do animals dream? Probably yes. Your dog might tell you about chasing dream rabbits. Do they have personalities? Definitely. And they'd probably roast us about ours. We'd learn about their emotions, their intelligence, their social structures. A pack of wolves might explain their complex hierarchy in ways that would make our human politics look simple. The problems we'd face. But talking to animals would create new problems too. What if your pet told you they were unhappy? What if wild animals asked us to stop destroying their homes? What if zoo animals said they wanted to go home? We'd suddenly have moral responsibilities we never had before. It's one thing to guess what animals want. It's another thing entirely when they can tell you directly. The biggest surprise. The biggest surprise might be that animals have been trying to communicate with us all along. We just haven't been listening properly. That cat staring at you, maybe they're trying to tell you something important. That dog following you around, maybe they have something to say. So what would really happen if we could talk to animals for just one day? We'd probably learn that they're more